coming down.
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly, Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to Stavelo, Belgium for this 7.004 kilometer long circuit. That is 4.3 miles with a total of 20 corners, 10 to the right, 11 to, or 10 to the right, 10 to the left. That comes down to about 20. Opened in August 1921. And the quickest lap time ever recorded here, a 146.286 for Valtteri Bottas in the Mercedes W09 2018 during the Formula 1 Grand Prix qualifying. With me in the commentary beat, as usual, is Dean Biggles. We're ready for round number 8 of the Radical World Series America. And what a great track this is in the Ardennes, in Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. Now, welcome in everyone. Welcome in Phil. Welcome in CJ. Hope you're all well. Let's bring in Biggles, because it's about time for the Bigolino, the man from down under, to get into the booth. How are you, Biggles?
In Spa, it's actually great for me to be casting tracks that I'm well aware of course, for Formula One calendars. Usually the other tracks that we do a lot of that I'm learning, but I don't need to learn Spa, my friend, because obviously in Spa, nearly all Belgians live in cities out in the countrysides. Castles, and it's a holiday retreat, and 3 official languages in Belgium are Dutch, French, and German. Usually in Formula One cars, about 70% of your lap would be taken at full throttle. Maybe very, very similar here in the Radical cars as well. Yeah. As you mentioned about Valtteri Bottas's super pace that he has. And Eau Rouge, of course, Eau Rouge, one of those famous corners up there, it stands for red water. That's what it means French, because it's a little small stream that goes down the hill. Remember, this is up at top of a hill. Great track, elevation changes everywhere. La Source, Eau Rouge, Radion, Brussels, Speaker's Corner, whatever you want to call it, Pouon, La Fang, and obviously you've got Blackmont and the new bus stop chicane, the old bus stop chicane. Either way, check in and you can sometimes check out.
It's one, especially in the Europes before, we saw a lot of things happen down into Le Combe, going into Malmedy. That is the right-hander after Le Combe, so that we've just gone through. Then we have Brussels, that is the corner he's going through now. And we have Speaker's Corner, which is the left-hander downhill. This one, which a lot of people call No Name. As I said in the green room to Biggles, I've talked to someone very close with the owner of the track, and he also says that this is not Pouon, that this is Double Gauche. Of course, the French people proud of their language.
What?
Yeah. Well,
you can't rename Pouon. We're gonna have to talk to him about that, Dan. You have to call him up right now.
He didn't rename Pouon. Everyone else renamed Double Gauche to Pouon. That's what everyone did.
Tell him we're renaming it back. It's done.
I personally agree with the fact that Pouon is the better name for the corner.
It rolls off the tongue. I think the other one sounds a lot difficult if you're a caster that doesn't really speak the native tongue around here.
Double Gauche means double left-hander in French.
See, that's what I don't learn as being Australian casters or anybody around. Well, welcome, of course. Phil is always across the pond. And CJ, I beat you. I told you. I was first. CJ, a friendly pit lane reporter. What do you reckon? That practice session's about to be done and dusted there, Dan. We have 2 Aussies on here. A new Aussie, I believe, too. David Unger.
Scotty Galligan did really well. He was 6th in the Europe race. And he gained about 8-9 positions, I think. I think it was 8 in the end, as everyone has now come to a stop. Practice has come to an end, and ladies and gentlemen, it's time to do the real job. But before we go and do the real job out on track, take a look at the championship standings. Stephen Place is in first, out of Lucas Vieira in second. Scotty Galligan in third. So even though he always starts from the back, he is right up there in P3. And with a good result here this evening, it could jump up to a lofty P2. Lucas Vieira not here this evening for the Americas. Diego Zuccarelli in P4, ahead of Manuel Solozano in 5th. Joel Jacqueline in 6th, ahead of Diego Snyder in 7th. Artur Skondadis in P8, ahead of Joan Moncada in P9, and Charles Krosic in P10. Eric Harmon in P11, ahead of Richard Horn in P12. Nathan Brumby P13. Johnny Hamby, Matthias Moraes, Jason Duckworth, Patrick Hingston, Kansas Chantry, and then Rich Price in P19. Those are the drivers' championships. Let's take a look at the team championship. It is Team Redline Can-Am in first at a Bardovito Motorsports. 22 points, Biggles, only between those teams. Event Matrix ahead of Race Pace and Elite West Racing in P5. That is it for this this hour endurance round. We're going to go down to the track. Here are the drivers. see how they're going to perform out on track. Because, Biggles, I can tell you one thing. During the Europe one, it was action, action, action. And I think the top 3 for the first 1 hour and 15 minutes were within a second of each other the whole time. It was McCutcheon who got a great launch off the line from P2. It was P1 by the exit of La Source. And for the rest of the 1 hour and 50 minutes, led the way. But then Jürgen Frank did his work, and within about 15 minutes, gapped John McCutcheon to about 16 seconds. And Tim Bertie, he put him on 3 seconds in about 4 or 5 laps. So Jürgen Frank did the job on the last, in the last 15 minutes, and in the end, won the race comfortably by a country mile. David Ungar, who started this race.
Big trouble, isn't it? Because after you get La Source, you got that huge run up the hill there, through Eau Rouge, down the Camel Straight. Remember, it's actually a 7,002 meters, I believe. I've gone out there with that little wheel that clicks over. It's not what iRacing tell you, my friend. I measured this. I know, Dan. They're wrong in iRacing. It's 7 kilometers, okay?
It depends on which line you probably take through the track. If you take the
middle line... I take the Biggles line, mate. The shortest. Here we go. You want to ride on board with the driver? Yeah, and give us a Dan special around Spa-Francorchamps. Obviously, this is the track of tracks, isn't it? If you've never driven this track, you've never driven one of the best motor racing tracks on the planet. This one, Monza, and all of the classic Silverstones. Well, Dan, who would you like to go on board with?
Stephen Place, I think. Let's go to Diego Schneider for now. Here he is, the Argentinian. Well, the thing is, Biggles, this track, it just holds a special place in my heart since it was that close to where I used to live. And I've been there for the 24 Hours of Spa 2 times. Did
you grow up playing in the sand traps there? Like in your little Hot Wheels out there and just playing cars going zoom, 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 zoom like you're a little kid?
I did that in our backyard. Sadly not at Spa-Francorchamps though. Actually, fun story. I hadn't been to a track until I was 17 years old, and that was 2021 during the COVID period. I went to Spa-Francorchamps to watch the 24 Hours of Spa. That was the first time I actually went to a track and the first time I actually stepped foot on a track turf. So yeah, wow. There we go. But
now you're gonna make Phil and I feel old. Phil's been around the pond a few times, and some of the drivers go around the pond at the moment. Stephen Place at the moment, he's got a purple sector 1, and he's only got the bus stop chicane right now. Navigate and get on the power there. It's perfect through the apexes there. Sorry.
Jump on board with him.
Debated. Will he beat Diego's top time in the sheets there? Yes, he will. Stevie back in place on top of the fastest time at the moment, but still a little bit more time in qualifying. But remember, it's very, very, very long laps. Actually, it can surprise me, isn't it? Formula One, I was like under 2 minutes. We're doing 2 minutes and 12 radical cars. Look at that, mate. The other Aussie there, David Ungar, 54 machine up into P4. So that's a new name here at the Radical Series.
Yeah, I haven't seen it before. But Scotty Gallagher, of course, bringing his other Aussies into it. We'll wait with the lap on board until next lap, and then we'll go on board with Stephen Place. So we'll stay on board with Stephen Place here because he's quick at the moment. Also really quick is Diego Zuccarelli, his fellow Canadian. It's Canadian 1-2. Then we have Manuel Solorzano. Then we have David Unger, Joan Moncada, and Jeff Stone. And then Scotty Gallagher, of course, is not going to qualify. Diego Schneider, and then Joel Jacqueline. So all in all, I'd say if Scotty Gallagher would just qualify 5th, and then Moncada and Stone stay 6th and 7th. And we have two
Switch that over to the Aussie, mate. The Thunder from Down Under of David is absolutely flying, as well as Ben Wilson's at as you said. And Diego started, so they're all exchanging Christmas cards and the purples in the mini sectors, of course. As Phil says, hey, what do you mean? Biggles. I'm old. I'm 65. Mate, you are just getting started. 165 these days is old, mate. You're just getting in your prime. Of course, Phil is probably the #1 fan out there for the JP Broadcasting Network. That ain't no JPB without no Phil. We love you, mate, and thank you very much for tuning in, as well as, of course, our friendly pit lane reporter there of CJ. Here we go. Final couple corners. What can the Aussie do?
On board with Stephen Place now. See what he can do and take a lap on board on this beautiful Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Here we go, onto the start-finish straight. Stephen Place, across start-finish. Line up well for the source. Brake at the 100. About 75 meters. Overshoot turn 1 if you are Stephen Place. And miss the apex by about half a meter. Won't impact him too much because his exit onto this straight was good. About 25 to 30 seconds of full throttle action here. Up through Radion and Eau Rouge. It's very on edge in these cars in the SR8. Up the hill we go, and this is actually uphill. It looks like it's just flat, but it is a bit uphill, so the cars will struggle here. Down through the gears, down into third gear. Some drivers take second through the left-hander, and there we go. It's second for Stephen Place, back up into third for Malmedy. Then up through the gears, going into Bruxelles. A long-lasting right-hander. The left tire will be screaming when you're coming out of here. Down on the second, accelerate out of it into Speaker's Corner. Keep it in third, accelerate all the way through. And we have some time to relax before we go into double gauche, double left-hander. Pouon called as well. Right front tire will not be happy going through this complex and then into Le Fagne. Of course, the chicane that some people call the Piff Path. Down into third. Keep it pinned to both apex, right and left on the exit 2. Don't go too wide, easy to pick up and off track. Then into Campus. Through the right-hander and through Stavelo we go. Now we have a bit of time through Curve Pool Frere to relax a bit before we go into Blanchimont, which is easy flat in these cars. Easy flat with the downforce on these cars. And then we line it up well for the bus stop chicane. Like I said, easy flat. Doesn't even use all the road available to him. Brake about at the beginning of the curbstone. Don't do it too late. Overshoots it a bit, the first apex. Accelerate on to the start, finish straight once again. And that was a lap of Spa-Francorchamps in about 2 minutes 11.70.
Stevie's replaced it. I think there was a mistake there from David. He was looking pretty damn quick, but keep it on Diego started at the moment. He's the one that could actually be replacing everybody. And just slots in there. Just slots in that P2 there for our Argentinian man. Of course, if you missed that, you know he's livery there for the Argentinian flag. Jacqueline at the moment. Joel Jacqueline on a flying lap. First sector's, well, give or take, not the absolute best, but it's a long track, remember, 7 kilometers. You can make it up to the bus stop chicane, mate. You can shave tenths. As James would say, you'd be shaving like a Kardashian plastic surgery if you get it right through that one. And we know that Scotty doesn't put a flying lap in, so the Australian driver. That's it anyway, Dan.
It is 9 drivers only, of course. That is due to the 24 hours of the Nürburgring being up here this week at iRacing. So a lot of drivers have put their hard work into that and did not have the time to practice nor have the energy to come into this race. Stephen Place ahead, Diego Schneider on the front row, then second row, Diego Zuccarelli, David Unger, the Thunder from down under, Manuel Solizano in P5 ahead of Joan Moncada in P6, Joel Jacqueline in P7, Jeff Stone P8, and Scotty Galligan, a bit less to overtake here today, but nonetheless, it will be an exciting race for him.
Yeah, Dan, where would you predict Scotty into La Source? Do you think he can gain like a couple of places now? He's got a lot less on the grid there. Of course, yeah, drivers will be absolutely exhausted after that 24-hour event. And almost everybody and anybody on the planet that races iRacing was a part of that, which is the reason why the grid's a little bit small this weekend. You can't blame him, of course, because grueling Nordschleife isn't 174 corners of just pain, pleasure, and more pain. Anyway, Dan.
Answer to Phil in the chat. Phil says anyone know how James is doing? Or how James's team is doing? I do. James pulled out of it because of a lack of practice. The man is very busy as always. But here we go. The 5 front lines are going to be onto the gantry. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They went out really quick in the Europes. Stay on a bit longer here, but it's lights out and away we go. And it's absolute calamity at the start. It is Diego Schneider who is around already. Didn't even get off the starting line. And he was spun around. Stephen Place leads down in the turn 1. Diego Ciccarelli in P2. But what happened there?
I don't know what happened. I've never seen a car flip on basically on the straight line finish like that. I mean, you got to have some momentum. If somebody slammed in the back of you can flip a car up. Obviously, it was a 0 start there. Dan, you might have to go back and replay that one because I have almost you call this a red flag and restart at that point.
Yeah.
What happened?
That is
two cars
really
involved as well,
one.
remember, but what happened?
Here we go,
Let's have a
look up
look.
front. Look where Diego Schneider does not get off the line at all.
Yeah, not at all.
And just
And
causes total chaos.
That's either like, you know, hey, the Argentinian internet just cut out on him, or he forgot he was running back from the bathroom to get back into the racing rig. Something like
And
that
then look at this, mate. Scotty Galligan, by the exit of La Source, up into P4.
Well, I'm not surprised on that one, mate. I told you Scotty's going to slice through the field here, but Scotty's got to be very lucky and is slamming into the back there, unfortunately, of Diego's car. But they still have 58 minutes to go, mate, and they also have a mandatory pit stop, so anything can happen in Spa. Yeah, I think some of the jaws were dropped on the restart of that one, but I think people were rushing to the microwave to get some popcorn and couldn't quite get back in time to go, what? But the Canadians are leading, my friend. 1 and 2. Stephen Place leading there from Diego Zuccarelli.
They are. They're a different team, but are they going to work together? You never know. It's an hour race. You don't need to overtake as early as possible.
Yeah, Dan, I don't know if we can get a replay in a minute to actually have a look at the onboard of Diego Schneider on that one. Because I just wanted to see what happens from his perspective. Because once again, we don't see cars flip, do we, on race starts very often.
No, we don't.
So-
We don't. We usually don't see it at all.
I mean, we see crashes in the pit road, especially here in Belgium from the likes of Dan. But we don't see yeah, Scotty's in for an early pit stop, so I think Scotty's get over and done with right now.
Yeah, there we go.
Which actually allowed, believe it or not, Diego, who was the one that was flipped upside down, up into P5. However, that's possible. But the man is in P5.
Well, Diego Schneider, the man who flipped upside down at the start, like he said in P5. It's unbelievable.
I know, how's that possible? How do you flip a car on the first lap upside down, and then all of a sudden you're back in P5? Well, just like that, we do know that Scotty took a pit stop there as well, too, as Dave Unger. Dave was not, the other Australian was involved in that. You saw him spinning off to the right-hand side, trying to avoid that collision. And he's behind the man that flipped. Welcome to iRacing. Let's go on board. This is Diego. He didn't get away, and he got tapped. Look at that. In fact, I'm not sure if that's even just the game trying to steer you. He's upside down at the moment. And just like that, he has to restart the pit road.
How has he done that then?
He's turning the steering wheel now, so he's back in control of the car. We don't know if anybody, please let us know. CJ may be aware of that one. CJ's down on the pit road of if Diego just had a little, like, you know, net code or whatever that jazz was to couldn't get the start there. Because we know just sit there and just wait for everybody to go past.
No.
He's definitely going to be in the fight.
Anyways, Stephen Place leading the way, Biggles, ahead of Diego Ciccarelli and Moncada in P3. So it's 2 Canadians ahead of 2 Americans. And then we have Diego Schneider as the lone Argentinian in there.
Yeah, 2 battles at the top of the timesheets between P1 and P2. The Canadians, will they work together? Got plenty of time, no doubt. And also look at Manuel. Remember, the championship is heating up for him, and he is behind Scotty. That'd be a great brew. You might want to go back to that P7, P8 battle between those 2 drivers because they're going to make their way out of into La Source very soon and be following each other all the way up.
I have just seen something. And Phil is an absolute legend for mentioning that. He says, will that count as a pit stop when he jumps into the pits for repairs? And it does. It counts as a pit stop on the timing screen. Jaguar Schneider has made one pit stop. So that means that he doesn't have to stop again. Jaguar Schneider is in prime position if he can keep up with the rest to win this race, because he doesn't need to pit anymore. The first driver who's actually pitted before, or who's actually pitted behind him, is Scotty Gallagher, who's in a fight with Manuel Solorzano. But Phil was absolutely on top of that one.
Yeah, you know what? Out there, Ted Kravis, you're fine.
Give him a race.
Phil,
give him a race.
You are employed. Yeah, we need Phil down there. Pit road, man. He's on top of that one. Actually, we have two great people. CJ remembers way on top of that too. We have some of the two best pit lane reporters you're going to find on the planet. Sorry, guys, you can cut. I'm already just branding you as pit lane reporters. But you're so sharp, aren't they, Dan? They're right on top of this. It almost makes us like we could sit back and let them do our job for us.
Well, I know that for Phil, it is about 2:38 at the moment at night. So for him to be that sharp still at this point in time is very impressive, I do have to say. It is 3:39 for me at the moment, so not very early for me either. But I had a bit of sleep in between. Stephen Place, if you want to have Zuccarelli.
Keep on Scotty. Scotty's making a run on Stone. There it is, P6 and P7. The Scots are doing what Scots does best, and also behind him. So just like that, Stone dropped a couple of places. Jeff Stone, you know, there's a reference to like dropping like a stone. I do want to have to use that one, Jeff, but I think Jeff's just realizing there's a long... Yeah, sorry, Jeff. It's just the day. But yeah, remember, he's playing the long game. Yeah. He's going to be like laughing when he crosses the line with Bunny waving the flag while everybody else is crashed out. That makes you win points in a championship. So, you know that?
I think just finishing this race anyways will give you points in the championship. However, you want to take as many points as you can. Scotty Gallagher on a 2:13.13. And Diego Schneider with the fastest lap of the race. He's on the back of Jacqueline now. He's going to get that nice toe up Eau Rouge Ratty on.
Yeah. Can we ride on board there? Please, Dan. Let's go on board. How it feels to ride a Radical up through Eau Rouge, down the Camel Straight. Here we go. DRS activated. Beep. No, sorry, Diego. Just a pure man missing machine. Here we go. Coming up. Welcome.
He's not going to get there in time. He's going to close up. He's going to close all the way up to the back of Jacqueline, but he's not going to get there in time. Through Malmedy, maybe on the exit, he has the better line here. Into Brussels, a bit of a modulation of the throttle there on the apex of Malmedy. That didn't quite give him the run I thought he would get. CJ says, maybe flipping worked in Snyder's favor. And they're both off.
A synchronized spin. We've seen this before, isn't it? Because he's trying to over-adjust because of the mistake that was made from Joel Jacqueline. And just like that, they both do it. But Diego Steiner, once again, even after flipping mad at the start of this race, has flipped his way up into P4. After
now look who's right there.
Yeah, Scotty's now going, what is going on? I think Scotty's got the right strategy. Just stay at the... I mean, Scotty, mate, you probably even do that in a 24-hour endurance race, isn't that? Oh, yes, Diego Steiner just make a snap of an oversteer and just let him through.
That was...
Well, got replays coming up there, Dan. For sure. See what happened there.
Well, here we go. Let's take a look with Joel Jacqueline. Here he is, Diego Schneider behind him.
This is going to be an Olympic synchronized spins.
Yeah, he's trying to make up for the ground that I think Joel Jacqueline was going to lose.
That was very nice of Joel to actually allow Diego through. He didn't have to, because he was actually ahead of him on track. But he saw Diego manage to get back on the power earlier. Get on your Joel. I mean, unfortunately, he did lose a position by 2 positions by doing it, but just welcome to motor racing.
And then there goes Diego Schneider wide, sadly.
It seems like a lift on Diego on that one, didn't he? He said, look, I got all this.
No, he went wide. He went wide there.
I thought he had all that beach stuff from when Dan was playing in the sand traps as a kid.
Well, the thing is, I actually loved the fact, I don't know who, I think it was Lando Norris who had the beach ball helmet at Miami. I love the fact that even the description on the beach ball was made to, well, of course, not the exact description of how to use it. Of course, it was a funny description, made how they wanted it. But even that wasn't left out on the helmet. It was absolutely amazing. The attention to detail on that one. Stephen Place has attention to detail too. He's leading this race by about 1.1 seconds over Diego Zuccarelli, John Moncada in P3, and Scotty Gallagher in P4.
Well, one's looking quickly. One's catching the Canadians there. So, Mr. USA, Juan Moncada is just 7/10 down the road there. You can see him slowly bringing in Diego, who's just 1 second change from Stephen Place. So, he's thinking, hey, I'm smelling some Canadian bacon here in Spa. Well, my friend, you got double crispy bacon up the road there if you can take both Stevie and Diego. I'm not sure that pans out quite well because Canadian bacon's different to US bacon. Other way. You guys get my reference out there. Look how much pace he's gaining here. It's actually a three-way battle's turned into it. So you wonder if Stevie's backed up a little bit here. Diego in the hunt. You're going to start another lap around here, lap 5. Both of them make their way 6, of course, around the bus stop chicane. And here we go. La sauce. Well, I was going to say pancakes and all that sort of stuff. That's maple syrup. We won't talk about that, will we, Stevie?
Go Aussie, says Phil. Aussie.
Scotty.
There we go.
He's 15 seconds to change down the road. He's got big problems with Diego more behind him. But the battle of the action you're seeing actually on the camera right now is Diego started. And I'd have to say, Scotty, mate, if Diego can survive a couple of flips there for the Argentinian driver and still be on the track, having all the incidents, having all the camera work there for the just doing it, go down into the Camel Straight right now. If I was Scotty at this point, I'd be like, man, I think I'd let Diego through. This guy's just got a lucky chance here in Spa.
Why is he going to do so? No, Diego Snyder is going to take the better of it himself.
He lifted before Lacombe. Look at that. Just a little bit too far back.
Though. Both go a bit deep into that corner, Biggles. And, well, let's put it like this.
It's clever play. You've got plenty of time, 47 minutes. But remember, too, that both these drivers have made their pit stops. So they can go to the end. Everybody up the road, Stevie, Diego, and Juan, have yet to make a pit stop. So as long as they're looking at their delta, no doubt there, at how much it's going to take for a pit stop around here, and can they jump all those 3 drivers? They certainly probably can. Well, if anything we need to know, we'll just talk to Phil and CJ out there in the chat, because I'm pretty sure they're going to crunch those numbers for us. But I think Diego's happy to sit there and just size up Scotty's car and see how Scotty's panning around here. Both are very quick drivers, of course, and fierce competitors, and practically in the same longitude in the planet Earth as well, too, with Australia and Argentina climates and environments.
Well, you know all about it. You're from Australia, of course, Biggles. Living, I think, somewhere in Panama. Now, I know one thing. Panama and Australia, two very different climates, aren't they?
Yeah, but more Argentina, Australia, because they're, if you look on the globe, they're very, very, very similar.
Yeah.
So Argentinians know about Aussie weather, Aussies know about Argentinian weather. So here we go. Diego knows about Scotty into La Sauce, and that'll be a good exit out of La Sauce, maybe a run up through the Red River, isn't it? More importantly, of course, to our Rouge is getting it down to Camel Straight and then thinking about Lacombe. But I'm so used to Formula 1, mate. The DRS is so powerful around here, but none of that in the radicals.
Well, he's going to get there, but I have a feeling he's once again going to lift. Here we go, Jimmy Snyder. Let's hear it. Yeah, he's lifting. He's lifting.
Yeah.
He's lifting.
Now, he had enough space, I think, to send it there. He had enough space to send it.
Yeah, but do you want to send it with 45 minutes left on the clock?
Well, Diego obviously said nada on that one. But happy to sit behind, because obviously, remember, Scotty's very, very quick. Scotty kind of plays with his food a little bit sometimes, as we know in the league there. Scotty doesn't even qualify he just sits there. Unfortunately, his team, the Aussie of Dan Unger, that's new to the league at the moment. David Unger there, I was hoping to bring in there because I want to see more
Didn't really
Aussies
make
in the
it
grid.
far, did he?
No, but he got hit on that first lap. But if you want to go back to the very first incident again there, Dan, once you get a chance to go back to those replays, well, there's quieter action in this race, per se, for now. So we can kind of get an idea of what happened. We know that for a fact that Diego didn't start, and I believe that David had to take avoiding actions, and unfortunately the pit ball was in his way.
Yeah, I think he was the red car that spun off to the inside, nose deep into the right-hand side concrete wall. Ooh, Jiggers Zuccarelli. Looking interesting.
Yeah, they are catching. They will be within a second and change of Stevie leading this race. As you can see him go down to start another lap before La Sauce. Welcome La Sauce. They speak of Francais. and they speak Dutch a lot here too, don't they?
Not in this part of Belgium. Yeah,
I
they
thought
do.
it was German, French, and Dutch. I thought was the
Yes.
three primary languages.
The top part of Belgium, if you look at it from a kind of map perspective, the top part of Belgium speaks a lot of Dutch. Then the bottom part speaks a lot of French, but then towards the right edge of Belgium, they speak a lot of German.
Well,
That's
what
how
if
it works.
Diego's speaking a lot of Aussie right now there? So the Argentina's going to be shouting something out there in Spanish, and Scotty's going to be shouting something out there in Australian. He'll be like, yeah, come on, mate, bring it to me. Diego's go, rapido, come on, amigo. Let's go. I'm trying my
Biggles
best
knows
on the
every
Spanish,
language. Biggles knows every
No, I
language.
don't, mate. I don't know French, I don't know German, and I don't know Dutch. So in this neck of the woods, that's your department. And oh, Scotty has made a little bit of an error. Diego's capitalized on that one.
Now, when is Scotty going to catch back up against these two in terms of pace? Very evenly matched. And I think once he gets into that slipstream, we'll be right back on him again. However, Scotty Galligan, a little bit of a mistake, and, well, there you go.
Let's have a look at that in a
Done.
chopper cam or something, Dan. I wanted to see because Scotty makes a few mistakes because he's pushing it to the limit. But let's see where my Thunder from Down Under driver had made a little error. He's cooked it, hasn't
Oh.
he? There, that's unusual. Chop those trees down. We need to see. Don't chop the
You
trees
can't
down,
do
the Ardennes
that
forest.
because it's the Ardennes Forest, Biggles.
Yeah, well, the virtual world we can, but it's all right. Diego's got to. Do you think that, just reflecting as well as Phil and CJ in the chat, do you guys think that is that because the pressure that Diego was applying to Scotty got
For
inside
sure.
Scotty's
For sure.
head, and then
For
Scotty couldn't handle somehow the pressure there from the Thunder from under of Argentina at that point, and Diego did what Diego did best, just push him into a mistake.
Well, Jigo was on him all the time. And we saw this happening in the Europes earlier with Jürgen Frank and John McHutchinson. Now, McHutchinson didn't make a mistake for 1 hour and 50 minutes. And, well,
Wow.
he did really well, I have to say.
Well,
to keep up with the
Diego is going to be putting pressure on Stevie at the moment for the battle for P1. And I'll tell you what, they make a mistake at the moment. One is going to be ready to pounce on that one any day of the week. Because they've been following each other like yeah, that's actually impressive, isn't it? Because you got to think of the 24-hour race that we had in Nordschleife. Like, then again, 174 corners is a little bit different than Spa. However, it is easy to make mistakes, isn't it? And concentration of an hour and change to then make a mistake. You never want to see a driver do that, do you? But it happens.
Well, it's tough, but it's racing too. And it's a part of the sport. You learn, and you don't do it next time round. At least that's what you're expecting. If you're me, then you crash into the pit lane every time. But Diego Zuccarelli, very much not me. And he's 4.5 tenths back on Stephen Place.
It was hanging out with some of the Aussie blokes in another racing league and stuff like that, even in a racing league, actually, just hanging out in a racing team. And they practice for weeks and weeks and weeks, like Max Verstappen and other teams do, Team Radline, all the top tiers, of course, that do race in the iRacing official 24-hour endurance races. And they, like, you know, these guys made perfect, like, they do it over again, different temperatures, different times, and lots of jazz. Perfect. When it came into a race situation, one driver makes a mistake, and they're like, it's just my bad. It's my brain fart moment. I don't know what I did. Like, I don't know why I made that mistake. I put hours and hours and hours and effort into it. I just did. And just like that, they're disappointed
It's the
themselves.
pressure
Of course,
that
they're
builds
disappointed
up.
with the team, too, isn't it?
It's the pressure that builds up, Biggles. The pressure of needing to perform, all of a sudden needing to be there. You can't press that reset button anymore and just go back to pit lane and be where everyone else is. If you do that, you are going to lose positions. So, you know, it's the real deal. And we had an attempt at the 24 hours of the Nürburgring too. And I can tell you, during practice, all was going well in the race. Couldn't complete 2-3 laps cleanly. It's just a different kettle of fish compared to practice, and all of a sudden it's the real deal that you're having to deal with. Scotty Gallagher got pushed. There goes Schneider again. There we go. The Aussie getting past the Argentinian, and Diego Schneider down into P5. Corelli all over the back of Stephen Place still. John Moncada has closed in too, within a second of him too. However, just there on the verge of that second. It'll take him a little bit of a while to exactly feel where he is in this race, but Diego Ciccarelli at the moment, the bridge for Joan Moncada to Stephen Place. I think if Diego Ciccarelli wouldn't have been there, it would have been a whole different ball game between Stephen Place and Joan Moncada. However, Diego Ciccarelli is there and he can tow up to the back of him.
Yeah, maybe real quick there. Well, we'll wait till they get through the bus stop chicane. This is obviously a key overtaking opportunity here for Diego. He's 4 seconds and change at the moment on the back there of Stephen Place. Approaching the bus stop chicane. Well, they always say, as the Eagle song, you check in, you may never leave. Well, maybe. No, they're going to have to settle there for a little bit. But Dan, I don't know if you can get a little bit of a replay of what just happened there, obviously, from that Scotty Diego battle for the overtake.
Oh, he just overtook him.
Hold that for a second, because I also want to see whether or not Diego's going to be able to push Stevie into a little bit of a mistake as they climb their way up through our Rouge. Getting on the power right now.
There we go. We've been land-strolled.
There we go.
Scotty Gallagher. Yeah, like I said, down the inside. Diego Schneider not going to fight it. Just a normal overtake from Scotty Gallagher.
That's a lift and let through. That's not an overtake. That's a lift and let through.
Yeah, well,
We'll see.
He still had to put his car there, didn't he, for Diego Schneider to be able to lift.
Yeah, but here we go now. Diego is really starting to pounce on the back there of Stephen Place. He realizes time is ticking. 37 minutes. Remember, the top three drivers at the moment are yet to make a pit stop. It's mandatory to make a pit stop within 10 minutes left of the race, so they've got time. However, remember, you got to look at Scotty. 16 seconds and change down the road there from one. It has to make a pit stop as well, too. So they got to be thinking, crunching numbers right now. Can they clear Scotty? Can they clear Diego? That'll be something for, obviously, CJ and Phil out there. I guarantee you, CJ and Phil out there can crunch those numbers and tell us what will happen.
Well, Phil says they will not miss a few trees if we don't tell anyone, and I agree with that. But the thing
in
is,
the virtual
Phil,
world, we wouldn't cut a real tree down.
well, no, but the thing is, Phil, that, you know, you're in the iconic Ardennes Forest, and there are people in here, and especially owning this track, that know every tree that is alongside the track, and if he misses one, he will send someone out there to find out who took it. So,
Okay, here's one for you, Phil. Because Interlaga is one of my favorite tracks. Do you know which tree they've never cut down that's on the track? Inside the barriers on the track has its own barrier around it. I was watching Diego still bringing a Battle of the Canadians for P1, P2 to the bus stop. Going to exit out of there. Diego's going to get on the power there. Steve's going to try to cover him off. I'm so used to DRS. Yeah, at this point, just tuck up into the lost source. And one's just hanging in the background going, okay, have you guys tangle? I'll take that one any day of the week. Yeah, back to that one. You guys know what the tree's called? I won't give you any more clues. In Interlagos. It's inside the barriers.
Inside the barriers?
Yes, it's inside the barriers. Literally. The fence on the outside of the track in the moment, it's in there. They didn't cut it down. They won't cut it down. It still exists. Diego, is he going to make a run now? Nope, tucks in. But puts pressure on the mirrors of Stevie. And that's what we've seen before in the past, haven't we? Drivers making mistakes when they're mirror driving. Is Stevie looking forwards or Stevie looking backwards? Either way, he knows that there's a Canada 1-2 at this point, but 1 is still creeping in the background. And they also, remember, they're battling the time of the pit stops because Scotty's in P4 and he doesn't have to make another pit stop as well as Diego.
So where's everyone going to come out on this one then? It's going to be something that we'll see before the last 10 minutes of the race. Everyone needs to make their pit stop before the last 10 minutes. So that'll mean that the last 10 minutes you will at least have a sprint to the finish line and know where everyone is. Because Zuccarelli at the moment doing everything he needs to do. Staying behind Stephen Place, saving maybe that little bit of fuel to take in during that pit stop phase.
I'm wondering right now, Dan, if one should just box a little bit earlier, try an undercut, try something different. Or is he happy to sit there if something's going to happen between the two drivers?
No, he needs the slipstream.
Maybe.
He needs the slipstream, Biggles, and...
Yeah. But then again, he has to follow him in the pit road then.
Yeah, but if he has a slipstream and can save fuel now, pit stop will be shorter. So he will get out of pit lane a lot earlier.
Are they going to cover that 15 seconds to Scotty? But I don't know if they can do that. At least a 30-second pit stop.
They're for sure going to try.
You'll see the little in and out messages popping up there. That's because in iRacing courses, you get close to that pit lane entrance where Dan knows all about those pit lane entrances. Scotty's putting the banker laps in too. Look at that, 12.
12.3.
Yeah, he knows. He knows he could win this race by just all alone. Well, in fact, anything, he's got Diego behind him. So Diego's actually pushing him. I think it's interesting. This is going to be a lot of pressure on Mr. Stephen Place's shoulders at the moment because the man's leading the championship as well. Has to hold off a couple of these very quick drivers as well as think about P4 and P5 in the pit stop strategies. Nobody's giving me the answer to that question. It's called the Lone Pine Tree. And it's about turn 11 on turn 12 in Interlagos. So there you go. I thought you would know that, Phil. I thought you'd know that, CJ. I'm disappointed out there. We're going to give you a server timeout for 10 minutes on that one. No, I'm kidding.
Don't do that.
It's got a little barrier around it. It's a pine tree, or it's a palm tree, but they call it a lonely pine in Brazilian. And it has a barrier around it. I'm telling you, man, I'm going to put a fold-up chair and watch the whole race there. It's off the racing line. That's the reason why
on top of the palm tree or in front of the palm tree?
No, the barrier's around the palm tree.
But do you want to put up a chair on top of the palm tree?
No, I'll be behind the barriers, thank you. But then again, I've never seen a car anywhere get close to hitting it in any motor racing in the past, which is the reason why nobody knows about it, that it exists in Interlagos, because in order to hit the firing line on that one. Ooh, Juan and Diego. Exchange your ruse.
No, this is...
Tried. Yeah.
Into the connections. Playing up a bit for Diego Zuccarelli. Here he is on the back of Stephen Place notes. Into the connections. Playing up a bit. There you go, Stephen Place. That's what I had in my head he's going to do. He's going to pit early, and the two behind him are going to follow him in.
One will, but Diego stayed out. So it'll be very, very interesting on this one. Scotty will go straight past him. Diego will go straight past him. Joel, 16 seconds to change down the road. So you can see the number 6 on the track map. I don't think Joel's going to be able to clear him. If it's a quick in and out, yes, it is. Just a mandatory pit stop, of course. They're not taking on gas or tires.
Oh, so this is the one for the... This is the one for the lead here, Biggles.
Yes, it is. Here we go. Welcome along to round 8 here at Spa. Always producers for the SR8 Americas. Look how close they are.
Scotty Gallagher with the speed, with the momentum.
Remember, one's come out on cold tires actually because he just pulled up. But then again, they just reduced it. Look at this. Down the Camel Straight. 3 abreast. Battle for P3. That's track position as well.
This is amazing. This is unfolding into an amazing battle. Now, Diego Zuccarelli, this might play into his hands. If he can just stay out of this battle and these 4 start battling each other, it might be Stephen Place who's going to lose that lead to Diego Zuccarelli. So they can't fight too much yet. They have to wait until Diego Zuccarelli has made his pit stop.
It's 14 seconds. I don't think Diego's going to clear this pack. I don't think he can, Dan. If he does, he's going to be right in the war zone, which is going to be so exciting for us out here watching this race and the audience for sure. Because we're going to have
I mean, I wouldn't mind.
We're going to have a 4-way or 5-way battle at the end of this race.
I wouldn't mind, to be honest, Biggles. Why not? Why not
Absolutely.
have a 5 abreast battle down into the Com, where we have 5 cars alongside each other and just everyone just crashes?
What would you be doing as an engineer of Diego right now? Like, how would you be crunching the numbers away? He's gone in. Diego's gone in. Have a look at the track map. Everybody else is down Blockmont. They're going to go into the bus stop chicane. Remember, Diego's going to pull up and exit. There it is. Down into the bus stop chicane. Stephen Place essentially maybe the leader of this race. Scotty's putting some pressure down there. Where's Diego?
He's
exiting
for the second
road.
time. So Diego has done all his pit stops.
Where's he going to come out right now? He's going to have some great speed going up through Erouge. No, he's going to have to slow down. Now he's getting the gas power. He's going to be right behind 1. Unless 1 can get around him. Yes, he did.
Well then, that's some big time loss for Diego Zuccarelli. The issue there was, I think, Biggles, the fact that he didn't have any slipstream. He was on his own. So, he couldn't do anything. Sadly.
But we do now have our nice fight for P4. For P1 with 4 cars. Really, look at that. They're all within a second. And then they made the pit stops. So that is with Diego Snyder that's really kind of lost out a little bit on that one. But Diego Zuccarelli, of course, is back on the 1. So there it
Schneider
is. Everybody
has
made actually, believe it or not, Joel Jacqueline and Jeff Stone have not made a pit stop yet. But I don't think they're too worried about that at this point. But halfway through the race there, Dan, 27 minutes remaining of a 60-minute.
Schneider has made his second pit stop, and he's the only one to have done so. For the rest, all ahead of him, have to still make that pit stop. However, Scotty Gallagher and Stephen Place all very close. However, I have a feeling I've got Jacob Schneider down for the win of this race, Biggles. Because
Isn't it 1 pit stop?
no, 2. It's 2 pit stops.
Oh. Yeah, you're right, because of that flip early. Exactly, I believe what Phil had mentioned may come back into play in that one for sure.
No, it's just you have to make 2 pit stops, I think, in total. And Scotty Gallagher is going to have to go in at some point too. Because if he could, I can tell you one thing, Diego Zuccarelli would have stayed out as long as possible. He would have stayed out of that pit lane as long as he could. And Moncada running a bit deep into the bus stop chicane. Diego Zuccarelli all over him. However, Diego Zuccarelli having some issues on his own, really.
Yeah, a little blinking you see at the moment there, so we can ride on board perhaps with Diego Zuccarelli, of course.
No, we can't.
No, we can't. That's fine. Not a problem. Stephen Place still leading this race. But Scotty, of course, is on his tailpipe. Scotty getting 7th position, starting plump last there, doing his last to first challenge, which was very much possible here for Scotty. He's been after that for a while, hasn't he? All season long. Maybe up to get that one done there, but I'm sure Stephen Place is going to try to deny that. Stephen Place, of course, is leading the championship. He doesn't want to deny, of course, any possible points to give to anybody, if he can.
Phil says, I thought the Americas only had 1 stop. Well, we'll see. I have a feeling that because the rule book for the Americas is very much the same as it is for Europe's. The only difference being that the America race is only an hour long, and the Europe one is 1.5 hour long. Now, it would make sense if you would take one pit stop out of the occasion there. But
Yeah, I believe, Dan, it is one. If we go back to previous races, I believe so.
if that is the case, then Scotty Galligan is, well, let's put it like this. Scotty Galligan is in prime position now. Very short, very direct answer. He's in prime position right now to try and take this victory. Also behind us, wow, big snap of oversteer for Diego Zuccarelli. That has put him out of contention for P3 for the moment. Scotty Galligan is still in P2, but what a snap there, Biggles, from Diego Zuccarelli.
Was that of Brussels? Can't remember the corner specifically.
That was coming out of Stavilo.
Yeah.
Now, Biggles, an interesting question here is, how long do you think these three are going to stay patient for? Because I have a feeling that at some point, Swan and Scotty are going to try and attack each other, because now that they're all still friendly, but when is that changing point going to come?
I think whether or not Stevie's going to be like, can I bring my countryman Diego in P4 back into play? He can't afford too much because Scotty's on his tailpipe, of course, and one. But keep an eye on that 2.3 second gap to P3. I think that'll be a key that Scotty and one will have to think about too, because if Diego Zuccarelli comes back into play, that means that they're also having to defend against him. So at some point, if he starts getting up about a second and change down the road there from one, you'd think if you're in the driver's cockpit of those cars, you'd be like, well, we have to get on with this, because do we want to have the four-way party here? Because Scotty's thinking of P1, one's thinking of P1. As soon as you bring Diego Zuccarelli in here, then you've also got another contender for P1. So, I don't know. Time's ticking, but how many people you want to be battling against on track, don't you? Dan, you know, as a race driver, you really only want to have one battle at one time.
Yeah. I have trouble, though, thinking about the fact that Stephen Plates is going to bring his countryman Diego Zuccarelli back into the mix, because his teammate João Moncada is in P3. So I don't think that's going to be the case. I think teammates go before countrymen.
No, countrymen go before teammates. You know that for a fact. But then again, they're dropping Diego anyways, 2.8 down the road. So at that point, I think Stevie would be like, yeah, all right, I'm sorry, mate.
Has
3
Diego
seconds now.
overheated his tires a bit, maybe?
Maybe, yeah, trying to catch up. He's got a spread, man. He's got nobody around the track with him. Look at that. One's put the fastest lap in. And that's, you know, obviously because of the slipstream. But, you know, at the moment, at this point, he's not going to be able... You got to think more for Scotty, isn't it? Separated in between, sandwiched between the teammates of Stevie and one.
Now, since this race is only an hour long, they don't really need to think about fuel saving, do they? This is just...
And Joel's had a little bit of a moment too there, Dan, that you might want to... Just wait, actually. I want to see how it pans out.
When did Joel Jacqueline have a moment? Because if I look on my incident screen, I can't see anything. He's just entered pit lane. He has gone into pit lane to take his pit stop.
Oh, you might be right on that one. Yeah, anyway. We won't over that one too now. But, however, that's the thing. Scotty has time. Scotty's biggest problem, obviously, is one that's behind him. Because one's obviously got pace, because one's set the fastest lap on the last lap. But then Scotty knows, well, one thing to set the fastest lap, another thing to overtake. Stevie's in control of this race, but Stevie's also got the pressure on his shoulders, isn't it, of two very fast drivers behind him. If we can ride on board with Stephen Place, actually, and look over his rear wing of the two men that are trying to hunt him down. And, of course, it's very important for Stevie to get a great result here as well, too, because it's going to secure more points in his Drivers' Championship that he is leading. So, you know, at some point you don't want to risk it for the biscuit too much. You got to think there, Dan, as you know. Hey, if Scotty's going to take me on a corner, am I going to get in a tangle and possibly risk losing a podium position if we do tangle, or will I settle for a P2 and still secure way more points in the championship?
You're a racing driver.
Mate, it's you. Got to think about the championship, right, don't you?
Yeah, but you're never going to give a win up, are you?
No, that's true. But then again, if I was an engineer, I'd be like, well, there's battles to be fought and lost.
There's being an engineer and there's being a driver there, Biggles. So you can see.
But I always say to a driver, what happens if they take each other out and you lose a podium?
You don't think about that. In the moment, you don't think about that.
I do.
The only thing you think about...
If I've spent millions of dollars in sponsoring and a team engineer of a car, I would totally be on top of that. But then again, I'm not driving, don't you? It's also important as a team engineer to calm your drivers down and make sure that they... Look at that. You see Stephen plays a little bit of wiggle. He's well aware of that one. Stevie, good on you, mate. Scotty's very sharp. He's going to be on top of that too. I love how one's going to lurk in the background, keeping him honest. And Diego, yeah, he's out of that range now. He got down to about 2.8. It's 3.6. So he's more concerned probably with Diego Snyder a little bit later in this race. But this is the battle for really a race win. Top step, middle step, or third step on the podium. Stevie, Scotty, or one will be the ones to decide that.
Bill says, I reckon Scotty will push for the win 3 laps from the end. There we go. So
why did you decide that one, Phil, actually? Did you think he's like trying to just... You have to worry about fuel saving or tyres because they've already gone to the pit road. They can go to the end, no problems. What do you think, actually? It's a good question for Phil out there because Phil, very experienced, has watched a lot of racing and been probably a part of racing a lot in his life. I don't think actually Phil has because we've spoken to Phil before. Why have you elected to say he's going to wait about 3 laps or so to push towards the end?
I would say that, you know, like I said, you don't need to overtake now. If you're going to overtake now, you're going to play your cards too early. He kind of has to feel where he's quicker than Steve plays at the moment, where he can overtake, and it seems like he's very much braking very early. Here we go. The tinted visors have been changed for the clear visors. It is properly nighttime here at Francorchamps. The lights on the cars becoming more and more apparent, Biggles. So we might well see some dark action here in a couple of minutes. However, only 17 minutes to go in this race.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about one, just hovering on that 1 second barrier. He's trying to keep up the pace. You can tell Stephen Place at the moment and Scotty are pushing a little bit more than were before. And perhaps it's getting very close to dropping one in P3. One's got to make sure he still sticks with this pack because he has an opportunity, of course, for a race win. If he drops too far back, then he's going to have to hope that they collide against each other. And there it is, one is still hanging in there. Scotty at the moment, yes, that's also the key, isn't it? Because you got to remember, as you said before there, Dan, like, yeah, you're in the slipstream, okay? So you're going to go a little bit quicker when you fall on that car. But as soon as you brake that car, you're ahead of them.
Yeah.
That'll then allow Stephen to probably come back if Scotty gets an overtake too quickly.
Yeah, I must agree with that one. It is, you kind of give them the opportunity of seeing where you are strong. And you kind of give Stephen Place the opportunity to kind of learn of what you did earlier on. And if Scotty just knows, if Scotty is confident enough in his own ability, which he should be because he's a very quick driver, he will know himself that he has the pace to overtake Stephen Place. He just needs to find the right moment to do it.
And as an engineer out there, this is actually great, Phil says, and we're talking about how easy it is for Scotty, who's been following Stephen Place at the moment and studying him, preying on Stevie, seeing where his racing line is. It's a perfect opportunity for Scotty to just
Stephen Place did a bit of a
the mistakes like that from Stevie. Exactly. And that's the thing. And going back to that, the more problem it is for Steven is that he doesn't have anybody to study. He's the one that is being studied. So he has to have somebody, at least, or a spotter or whatever, to kind of give him an indication, because how's he going to, you need somebody to help you out. Where do I going to defend? Where's Scotty make a mistake? That's the key. Steven doesn't know, because he can't be mirror driving. He has to just focus on the racing line right now.
As racing drivers say, and as I like to repeat, you're going where you are looking. If you're looking in your mirrors, you are going backwards. So you don't want to be driving. Well, you don't want to be mirror driving, because then you are eventually going to drop back. See, it is Scotty Gallagher who's holding back towards the edge of the straight, lifting. And
how are you going to tell, as a spotter, how are you going to tell Stevie, like, where to defend against Scotty? Where's Scotty stronger? Your spotters would be probably looking at Scotty going, Scotty's strengths around these corners.
Let's study Steven.
And then Steven needs to know how to defend against that, doesn't he? At least somebody needs to tell Stevie, because Stevie, once again, can't be looking at his mirrors. He can't be looking at that. He needs to focus on his own race. He needs somebody to go, hey, Scotty's stronger here, so place your car in X position and make it difficult for Scotty to overtake.
Place your car in X position. Make sure the other car is in Y position. That will come down to this graph in, the mathematics table, and then that'll mean that I will win the race. That's what you have to do. Scotty Gallagher is doing some mathematics live in the car. You can see where Scotty is quicker. You can see where Scotty needs a bit. However, if he on the last lap comes down through curveball fair with this gap, he's not going to get this victory. This is too far, Biggles.
Yeah, okay, out there. See, Phil's giving us a lot of feedback. Does CJ be a little quiet? I want CJ's opinion on this too. Well, obviously, welcome to the chat there. Like and subscribe. We're loving, well, Phil's usually not always here, but Phil's here today. Welcome along, CJ. Always gives us that fantastic feedback. I want to see, we're running on board with Scotty. It's a lot easier for the 666 machine here, Scotty, because you can see exactly where Stevie is. Scotty probably doesn't have to mirror ride as much, because he does know that one's there, but I don't think one's putting that much pressure there on Scotty. He's hanging back there. Seeing how it all pans out there for those top three drivers, you got to give it to Stevie. Stevie must be sweating like mad in the helmet, isn't he? Trying to hold off two gladiators. You see Diego cook it into La Source, a little bit too deep on there. He had more pace earlier, but just in a different racing league at this point. But he's still got a bit of a gap to his other Diego. But yeah, Steven plays, you'd have to say, so far in this, with about 12 minutes to change to go, a brilliant job. But you got to think, don't you? The pressure is mounting on Stevie. Pressure in the championship, pressure in this race. He cannot make a mistake. And it's easier said than done. We saw him make a little bit of a mistake in the bus stop chicane. I want to stop talking because I don't want to commentate curse Steven. But them's the breaks, isn't it, mate? When we are in the casting booth.
Well, Lucas Vieira, the Brazilian, is not here this evening. And he was second in the championship. So Scotty Gallagher, who was third, is for sure going to overtake him with 48 points on the board. That means that he's going to go up into P2. Stephen Place, however, is going to secure that first place even further at the top of the championship. 2 rounds to go,
you can't
of course,
say that yet. Well, yeah, the championship, but
well, he's
maybe
going to
not
secure
this
it further. It's not secure yet, but he's going to secure it further.
True.
Bathurst is the next round, which you just have to survive. Biggles,
Anyway,
let's be honest, you have to survive that track. It's a track where you can easily lose the championship with like 1 round to go, because the last track is a legendary one. Do you know what track we're going to for round number 10? Biggles? Are you there? Biggles not up for the trivia, it seems like. It was Imola, the track that we were going to for the last round number 10 of the championship. It's this round number 8 at Spa, then round number 9 at Bathurst, then round number 10 at Imola.
Man.
Place ahead of Scotty Gallagher and John Moncada in P3. I have a feeling that someone's back. Biggles, are you back?
I've been here the whole time.
Right. Right then, John, answer my question then.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Oh, I may be a little bit of disconnection. Sorry, can you repeat the question, please? Sorry.
The question was, what track are we going to go to for the last race of the season?
Is it Imola?
Yeah, it's Imola, indeed.
You said it. I know that. I'm a Monza man, but I'll take Imola. In these radical cars, Imola be so much better, isn't it? Because not straight line speed like Monza is. There's going to be, but more so the question out there in the chat will be, with under 9 minutes to go in this race, can Stevie hold off and get first place? Can Scotty take the #1 spot? Or can one, the American driver, steal the surprise there? So it is Canada versus Australia versus USA currently at the moment here for the radical SR8 Americas round 8 here at Spa.
He's gaining slowly but surely on Scotty Gallagher. The longer this goes on, bigger that gap between him and the Australian is becoming by thousandths of a second. It's not going quick, and he needs to keep consistent. He can't afford those mistakes. He did just a couple of laps to go into the bus stop chicane. We're down into the last 10 minutes. Biggles, everyone has made one pit stop, and you were right. It's always failing in chat, and I do admit it when I'm wrong. It is one pit stop that you have to make, and not 2 pit stops.
Yeah,
check
Dan,
the rule book too, and it is indeed 1.
Well, Dan, you know how it goes for you in pit stops. We all know about that
Yeah.
one, don't we, Dan? Look
Yeah,
at
not-
YouTube
yeah.
shorts on that one. Scotty's going faster. Set the fastest lap. I think this may be the time that Scotty's going to put serious pressure on Stevie. Now, as a racing driver, Dan, you're leading this race. You've been leading this race for essentially 24 laps right now. But you have the Thunder from Down Under, 7 positions gained, pouncing in your rear gearbox. How are you feeling as a race driver, Dan, if you're in...
Nervous, I would say. You're feeling nervous. However, Scotty Gallagher not going for it yet, still lifting. And Stephen Place knows it. He knows it. And he knows that on the last lap he's going to go for it. And maybe now Stephen Place a bit deep into Lecombe. That has allowed Scotty Gallagher to get real close to the back of Stephen Place. However, through Brussels, usually this is where Stephen Place is a bit quicker than the Australian. And he is once again, so just gains about 2 tenths, and he just needs to kind of minimize that damage if he wants to go for a move next time round.
You're right. He's got so much strength through there, doesn't he? Through pool one right now, and get a little bit wider out there on the track if you want, guys. We're so used to the Formula 1 cars doing it. Scotty's quick through some sections. Stevie's quicking through another section. They're dropping one a little bit now, 1.3 seconds down the road, so they could be turning into a 2-horse race rather than a 3-horse race for the race win. I got to give it to. As an Australian, I would like Scotty to win, but I guarantee you, as much I would love Stevie to do that because Stevie's had to do a fantastic job. I hate to be the car that's chased. I'd rather be the car that's chasing. If I was a race driver, I think the pressure's definitely mounted up on Stevie. And Stevie, of course, once again, leading the championship, can't afford to have one of those little moments, can he? And drop tons of places, especially the fact that Lucas Vieira is not here as well. So, got to capitalize, don't you?
Yeah, and that's what he's doing at the moment. However, Phil across the pond in chat says, Aussie win, but I am not saying the driver's name as I do not want to curse him. Now, because you said Aussie, an Aussie win. Now, David is never going to win it. Neither is Scotty going to win it because you've cursed Scotty now and all the other Australians in this
Leave Phil alone. We all know who Phil's talking about. He just doesn't want to be in trouble there from the commentators. Sorry,
I just want to give Phil some grief as he does
the
for me the whole time.
commentating cursing. All right. Hey, Phil, you are allowed to pick on Dan anytime he enters a pit lane, if you enter a pit lane. Scotty's going to mount some pressure on. 6 minutes to change to go. Remember, these lap times are going to take you about 2 minutes 12. So give or take you of about 3 at best. As the lights are on top of the car, the temperatures will cool a little bit. How was that going to feel down? How much does that make a difference in the track?
There'll be more grip.
More grip.
Yeah, there'll be more grip in the mid-corner. Your mid-corner speed will be a lot higher than it was when it was hotter. When it's hotter, you're sliding a bit more on the surface of the tire, which then a cause of that is that the tire is going to heat up even more, and over the course of the race you become slower. But if it's colder and it gets colder like it is now, you slowly but surely become a bit faster. Now the quickest lap time so far here today was Scotty Gallagher at 2:11.6, and Stephen Place on a 2:12. Scotty, the only driver in the 2:11s, and in the 2:11s really well, 2:11.6, about 4/10 quicker than the quickest driver after that was, and that is, if I'm correct, João Moncada on a 2.
Yeah, they're dropping one.
12.02.
Do you mind riding on board with Scotty at the moment? The 666 machine from Australia in the Radical car. Here we go. Riding on Scotty, 6th gear, and up through Blackmont, full speed there, up into the bus stop chicane there. Spot your braking point, slam it down the gearbox, down to 2nd, maybe 1st. No, I don't know these cars, but there it is. Slicing it through there, spot the apex, get on the power there, make sure your rear don't slide out too much. Great racing. Stevie, of course, has to do the same thing as well. He knows, hey, a couple more of these into La Source, spot the apex, hug it like your favorite grandma, and then get on the power, and then climb you up through a Rouge.
He's given
and
up.
He actually gained quite a bit, did he, on Scotty on that one?
Now, I have a feeling, I know Scotty here, and I have a feeling he doesn't want to take the win away from Stephen Place. He did it.
I hope not, Scotty. You got to go.
Round.
If you are listening, Scotty, you got to go for it, mate. I mean, we love Stevie, and Scotty's a little bit further down the championship anyway. It has to be a race. It has to be a definite challenge there. If Stevie knows, I'd have to say, and everybody knows, if you're holding off Scotty that wants to win this race, Stevie's going to be so much more proud of this race victory. He doesn't. I don't think anybody would want to have a race victory knowing that somebody's not going to put 150% in to try to beat you. So, if you are listening, Scotty, go for gold. If you can beat Stevie, you can beat Stevie. I don't know. Stevie's doing such a great job. I'm not quite sure Scotty has it to beat Steven.
I don't know, but he's done it before. That he said, I didn't want to take the victory away from Lada, whoever it was at that point.
No, we're right. That's out the door. This is game on right now. 3 minutes to change.
Let's hope it is. 6
Yeah, anybody listening out there, if you are aware of the drivers, you are spotting them and talking to them, tell them it's game on. Scotty, if you literally come P2 in this one, that is because you did not beat Stephen Place. Simply on pace. Simple as that. I'm not going to take anything like you didn't give it a shot. You have to give it a shot. Stephen Place is going to be defending like that. He's been doing a brilliant job there. He's matching the pace too. Remember that, Dan? He's putting in 2:12, right on the money. I don't think Scotty can get him. I honestly don't.
Well, we'll see. Oh, deep from Stephen Place. Now across the line, will this be the last lap? I don't think so. This is not the last lap. 2 laps to go now.
Yeah, but it's got to be whether or not Stephen makes a mistake. Actually, Scotty made a mistake. He hooked it too much oversteer into the corner there. Compromises exit going up through a Rouge.
Nah, there's something going on here, Biggles. There's something going on here.
What do you think? You got conspiracy theories happening at the moment? I'm not quite sure.
No, you can just see by how they're driving. Stephen knows it as well. He was waving on the run up to Eau Rouge. Scotty doesn't want to take this victory from Stephen Place, I can tell you that much. I have a feeling that's the case. If not, then well done to Stephen Place because he's been mighty. But I have a feeling Scotty doesn't want to take the victory away from him.
I disagree with that. If Scotty doesn't want to take the victory, Scotty is no longer a racing driver because if you no longer go for a gap, you're no longer a racing driver. Sorry, Scotty. I'm an Australian, mate, but if you don't want to beat Stephen Place right now, you're not a racing driver.
He's going, oh, where's
Stephen's gone, disappeared.
Gone?
Oh, there it is. So, yeah. Oh, that scares me for a second there. You don't want to see that, do you? You don't want to see little net code moments this deep into the race. I'll talk to Scotty about that one, mate, because, hey, you're a racer. You got to go for it.
Well, let's talk to Scotty because he's in the top 3, of course. We're going to get him in for an interview. We can ask him what exactly was going on. because it seems like at the moment he doesn't really want to get close to the back of Stephen Place. Have multiple
Well, no, he's
opportunities.
trying, mate. Stephen Place is doing a great job. You got to remember there's a difference here. Stephen's driving the pants off this car, and he has been for all of these laps. He's led since day one.
Well,
The double three full machine.
struggling to believe that a driver who on his quickest lap was 4 tenths faster than the driver ahead cannot overtake in slipstream. I'm just struggling to believe that. So we'll see.
It's one thing to catch up, it's another thing to overtake. Remember that.
Oh, it's ticket flag!
See,
It's
Scotty made a
Stephen Place
mistake
who
there.
wins it!
Scotty
Is
made
it
a
not no
massive
white
mistake.
flag? I thought for a second it was ticket flag. White flag now this time round. Scotty Gallagher.
But Scotty made a mistake into the bus stop chicane. It cost him at least a second there. Did you see that? It's cost him a lot more than that. It's given Stephen Place the win.
Because I don't know.
Have a look at the replay. It's
There is
guaranteed
no
he made a
replay.
mistake.
There is no replay. Nothing has come up as a mistake
Okay,
or
fair
an
enough.
off track from Scotty Gallagher. So
What do you guys think out there in the chat, though? Let's just allow it to everybody out there that's been watching the whole race with us the whole time. Thank you very much. Of course, we really appreciate you out there, of course. Phil and CJ and anybody else listening. Does anybody think that Scotty's just like sitting back hanging in there or really bringing it? And we got to think about one, mate. One was hanging with them the whole time there, Moncada. He's dropped 4 seconds to change it. I don't think he kept pace after that pit stop. Now, no way for a fact you know that one's going to sit there and go, I'll just chill. He wants to bring it to the top 3, and he was for many laps, but couldn't keep the pace to once Stephen picked up the pace. Scotty picked up the pace. Scotty's still picking up the pace. Scotty could still win this one. Problem is, Scotty's going to get about 2 seconds to get it done now.
well, where is he going to do it? Is Scotty Gallagher going to make this overtake on the last lap? 6 tenths is the gap.
It's going to be bus stop. It's going to be a dive bomb at best at the bus stop. And if Stephen parks it in the middle, entrance into the bus stop, because of the pit lane line, it's just a little short trip, isn't it, out of the bus stop, final corner of the bus stop. So even if he does bog down on power, he's still going to be able to cover off Scotty for sure. If he parks it in the middle, you got to park it in the middle. There he does it. Yeah. He's got it. Stevie's got it.
Well, Stephen Place is going to come through to say victory. It's Francorchamps. It is not Scotty Gallagher who gets it. But Stephen Place, what a drive from the Canadian. The man who's leading the championship also wins this race out of Scotty Gallagher. And Juan Moncada with a good drive comes through in P3. But what a race we've seen. It had everything. It had strategy. It had all we wanted from a race, didn't it?
Yeah, we got a photo opportunity right now as well. Team Redline looking sharp there. And yeah, Phil agrees with me out there. I definitely think it was definitely game on between the drivers, for sure. But nothing like a bit of conspiracy theories, isn't it, out there, Dan?
Take a look at this. I love it. Here we go. Aussie doing us a favour.
Yeah, Scotty, can you say your autograph there? It's a S, it's a C and an O and a TT. See if you can do that in your donuts. It's almost like doing it perfectly mirroring, isn't he?
Scotty Gallagher. What a lad he is. And what a drive he's performed once again.
He hasn't got a first to last to first chart. Well, obviously easier today for Scotty per se, because 9
it's the wall
drivers.
for good measure.
Yeah, that car's going to need a wash, Mr. Scotty, but I'll hopefully have a chat to you
And again,
coming up soon in there. And one of these drivers had
he's
participated.
blown the engine. He's blown the
To
engine in good fashion.
He doesn't need it until the next track. It's fine anyway. Diego Steiner, of course, interesting, isn't it? For the Argentina driver, he still gets that P5 position, but having the car flipped with a non-start there, or something happened, and yeah, but again, Dan, we haven't seen that very often in iRacing, haven't we? When the car gets banged, flipped upside down about 5 times, and still manages to finish in P5.
Take a look at that result, because that was an absolutely amazing race. There we go. Here are the results. Stephen Place wins ahead of Scotty Callaghan in P2, Juan Moncada in P3, and Jago Zuccarelli in P4, Jago Snyder P5, Joel Jackley P6, Jeff Stone P7, Manuel Solozano P8, and David Unger in.
Let's start bringing those drivers at the moment because we have some of them here in the interviewing room, the top three. Dan, you have the honors. Who would you like to bring in?
Well, I'm gonna let you start.
Okay.
With let's take from Moncada and do it from third to first.
All right. We'll bring one in here. So one, well, GG's on the race, my friend. You got 3 positions gained. You got the P3 position, battling it out, obviously, with Steven at the top there and Scotty, but then dropped off a little bit in the pace. How was the overall experience for you this evening?
It was great, good race. I was happy to stay with Scott and Steve for a while. At the end, they kind of got away from me, but I see it as an improvement. You know, I usually finish way behind those guys, so that was good.
Many laps you were hanging with them, and all of a sudden, just slowly a little bit dropped off the pace. Did you have a little off-track excursions or something like that? Was the reason why you ended up falling a little bit back behind them? But
yeah,
you were matching them lap by lap.
I only had 2 more offs before I got the what is it, a stop and go, I think is the penalty.
Oh.
So I was just extra careful of not getting any more because I think I was up to 13 if I'm not mistaken. I think
That's what it was. Yeah, that's the reason
so I
why
kind
you
of
had to back off.
Yeah, I backed off. I saw Diego was I think 6 or 7 seconds behind, so I knew it was okay to just back off a little bit and let those guys fight it out over there. I mean, Scott and Steve are extremely fast anyway, so I was.
Well,
just
so were
happy to
you,
have it.
but so were you because you were keeping with the top 3 for a very long time. I actually thought it was very smart because I thought you were like sitting back going, okay, you guys take each other up. I'll take that P1 any day. But
Yeah.
we don't know that up in the casting box that you are on limits there off tracks and stuff like that. And you did have that gap to Diego Ziadi. So I guess a little lonely towards the end, but you gained a podium position. Gotta feel good, right?
Yeah, definitely. 3rd podium for the season, so it feels good. I'm happy with it. Qualifying wasn't that great. I made a mistake and just messed up the tires. So, but glad I was able to make up for it. I think there was an incident right in front of me, and I had to avoid it, and almost got taken out. But it worked out at the end.
That was the other Diego, of course, the Argentinian driver didn't even get off there, and we'll show that a little bit later on. That's a bit of a flip on that one. But yes, anybody you would like to shout out there to one?
Yeah, I mean, happy Mother's Day to my wife. I mean, to all the mothers out there, but obviously especially to my wife. So just thankful for her and for our daughter.
Absolutely happy Mother's Day to one's wife out there if she's watching. G'day. Thank you very much. Behind every great race driver is an even greater woman. So you know that for a fact, don't you there, one? So
Exactly.
GG's on your P3, my friend. Looking forward to seeing you in round 9.
Thank you. Thanks, guys, for the commentary. You do a great job. Appreciate it every race.
You love to hear that, Dan. I know Dan's quite busy at the moment, but what we're going to do, of course, is that we have to move on. Now, controversy, Dan, isn't there? A little bit of controversy as we get these next 2 drivers in.
Hey, guys.
Yes. Scotty. G'day. Well, we all know the man that starts at plump last there, the 666 machine for the Thunder from Down Under. A little unfortunate about David Unger. I'm not even a poet, but yeah, the other Aussie on the grid. But
Yeah,
Scotty,
I'll have to go back and have a look, see what happened there. But yeah, no, that was fun actually. I know probably the end was a little bit boring because Steve and Juan are teammates, so I thought there's going to be team orders there. So I thought there's no point in overtaking Steve, and there's no point in letting Juan by. So
what do you mean there's no point in overtaking Steve, mate? You want to win the race?
Well, he's fighting for the championship, and
told
Lucas
ya.
is going to miss the next 2 rounds.
Oh, Scotty,
I
mate.
told
why
you
not
to
give
talking
him the
about that.
points?
I told you, Biggles.
Next week's going to be different. It's Bathurst.
All right, you're
So
banned. No, mate. You're not even allowed in Bathurst. You're a race driver.
I
You
got
want
to
to
bring
win.
the Aussie flag livery out and everything.
All right, okay. Well, maybe because it's Bathurst, we'll lay on that one. But Scotty, you got to go for gold on this one. Stevie was doing. We'll talk to Stevie in a second. He was doing a brilliant job there. He was holding you off. I imagine. I do believe that Stevie would hold you off.
Well, I couldn't get round him. It didn't help. He was swerving going down the straight too. It just sort of really put me off. No,
What?
No, I'm
Camel
joking.
straight? He was not swerving.
No, we were just having a bit of fun. So, yeah, after the race this morning, and getting up at 3:30 in the morning and getting 3.5 hours sleep, I'm pretty much done.
So I presume that your iRacing done for the weekend. It sounds like you did the 24 hours of Nordschleife too, didn't you?
No,
No?
no, I'm not mad.
Oh, it was like, well, you're getting up early. I thought you'd done it anyway. But Scotty, you going to bring it?
No,
Are
just
you
got
gonna
up
bring
to
it?
do the Europe race this morning.
Oh, yeah, of course. And I believe that Dan was talking about that a little bit earlier. He did a good result in that one too.
Yeah, but it'll be fun next week at Bathurst. But next season I'll race. I'll give Lucas a run for his money then.
Mate, you are going to race from the rest of the season. That's decided.
Oh, yeah. Well, next week Bathurst, I mean, starting at the front, no one will catch me, so I may as well start at the back.
Mate, I'm going to jump in and throw a couple of cobweb spiders in there, wombats, and a couple of brown snakes in your suitcase if you don't take care of yourself.
Yeah, it's Bathurst. I mean, I've got to win Bathurst, don't I?
Yes, you do have to win.
I've got to be the
Bathurst.
Aussie that takes Bathurst out.
If you don't, then maybe David or another Aussie do, because otherwise Stevie's going to run away with that one.
Yeah, well, I'll race.
Diego. I forget about Diego.
Well, I'll start from the back next week, but hopefully I'll pick my way through the field. It's only a half-hour race. But yeah, I'm still umming and ahhing. I might qualify. I don't know yet. I love starting at the back of Bathurst.
I'll talk to you a little bit later about that one, Scotty, for sure, mate. We'll switch you up. All right, I'll take you to a Bunnings for a snag. Dan, do you have any questions there for Scott before we let him go?
Well, I would say, Scott, thank you for confirming the fact that you didn't want to go for that P1. I knew it was happening. Biggles was still in the understanding that you were going for it, but did you make a mistake twice in a row into turn one, or was it just like I'll just let him go?
I was fuel saving, but I had a bit of a spin actually when I pitted on the second lap. I had a bit of a spin in front of Diego. It was a little bit off-putting because I knew I'd pitted, but he was still. I didn't know whether he's just going to send it somewhere. So I had one eye in the mirror, even though I knew I wasn't racing him. But yeah, I had a bit of a spin there. If that didn't happen, I would have come out in front of Steve after the pit stops.
Ooh. Well, mate, of course, next week, your home track. Let's hope that everything there goes to plan and that Bathurst doesn't choose you to take you out of that race with the Wall Street so close.
Yeah, Scotty, if Skippy runs across the track, mate, you can hit him. We'll fire him up on the barbecue
I will.
All right.
But there's known to be carnage at Bathurst, so let's see what happens.
And I'm going to clarify to everybody, of course, in the chat that's been sticking to that. I'm going to have a little bit of a chat to Scotty about this one for sure before we find out about the Bathurst. Anyway, Scotty, last shout out to anybody before we bring in the winner.
No, I'd just like to thank Steve and Juan. Obviously, Steve had a brilliant race, and same with Juan. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the replay.
That's you, Dan. You?
Well, there we go. Thank you, Scott, very much. And, well, of course, good luck in your home race next week.
Yeah, no worries. I'll catch us next week.
Then. That was, I think, a very happy Scotty Galligan. But like I said, Dean, Mr. D. Biggles, I knew that there was something going on. The way they were swerving on the straight, the way they were swerving before they went up Eau Rouge, it was the only way. But let's bring in the man who, in the end, I would say, Biggles, a deserving winner of this race. Stephen, please welcome in.
Hey, thank you. Good to be here.
Stephen, how was the race from your perspective? I think you led it from start to finish.
Yeah, it went quite well. I feel disappointed in my qualifying, but yeah, the race is pretty mellow. I knew Scott had the pace on me, but he wasn't really challenging me. So I just kind of ran my own pace.
So he says. Yeah.
Yeah, Scott. No, Scott had me today for sure.
No, he didn't. You had him, mate. You finished in P1. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the results right now. Your name is on the top of the timesheet. Scott is in P2. So, regardless of what anybody says, you won the race.
That's right. I kicked his ass.
There you go.
That's
See?
it.
And you're leading the championship.
Yep. It's been
He
a
was
good.
already.
It's been a good day. Quite happy with that. I wish Lucas was here. We all know Lucas is one of the bright stars in the Radical. But yep, I'm happy. We still have 2 more rounds. It's not done yet. So we'll see what happens.
How are you feeling going to the backyard now there of Scotty?
I know I have no chance. I can say that for sure. So that Scott, that is his domain, and you'll find out when he throws down his qualified
when you
times.
come down to Australia, of course, I'll take your side and give you some secrets of success of Bathurst. Don't you worry about that.
We'll
I know
do.
where Scotty makes mistakes. But
Will do.
Stevie, yeah. Apart from that, it wasn't a lonely race. It wasn't a non-exciting race. You weren't up the road by 10 seconds or whatever. You had battles all the way
Yeah,
through that, wasn't it?
Diego Zuccarelli, he was bringing it to me. I tried to drop him, and he kept with me. Props to him. It was exciting. We decided like 10-1, let's pit and see if we can shake him off the draft. And lucky behold, we came out. Scott was right behind us, and I thought that was going to be really exciting when we all started pitting. But it was fun.
And your pit stops as well. Just to elaborate to everybody on your pit stops, what was it, 13? Lap 13 or so, give or take? I'm trying to think of that.
Yeah, pre-planned before the race. If we're in a gaggle of cars or we need to break the draft, that we would pit together. If we were together.
But
yeah,
you're the one
so-
leading, so you're the one that has to make the call first.
Oh yeah, I called it. I let him know a couple laps of the game plan because I couldn't shake Zuccarelli, and I think that was our opportunity is to pit together, and try to work together and pull away.
So were you working with your teammate Diego Zaccarelli as well, too, the other Canadian driver? I'm sorry, no, I'm thinking about
one.
your Canadian drivers as well, too. Were you working at all with the Canadian driver or just your teammate?
No, just my teammate. We do talk on Discord, but no, me and Juan definitely we communicate during the race.
How do you get rid of that annoying Australian between you? That's the problem, isn't it?
I'm just happy.
Him? Like a
I'm
Vegemite
happy to have
sandwich?
Scott back. I'm happy to have Scott back. I love the Australians. I love it. I love it when they get angry. It's a big smile on my face. It's great.
I honestly thought, mate. Honestly, aside from the fact that yeah, Scotty's saying he didn't, and we don't know that for a fact. Scotty could just be saying he didn't try to challenge it to you about it. I believe that even if Scotty was to try, I don't think he'd get past you, mate. I think you put that car in all the right places to dominate Spa this evening.
You know what? Just because it's to make it exciting TV. You're right. He couldn't have passed me. I dominated. No, he told me halfway through that he wasn't going to challenge me. So I to be honest with you, I knew Scott wasn't going to attack. So
Biggles is still believing, Steven. Biggles is
I know, but I
trying
know.
I'm
what?
I'm like Journey, mate. I never stop believing.
Thank you. You guys believe in me. Thank you. Always say kind words, and thank you
Well,
very
Stevie,
much.
you can say kind words now. Would you like to reach out to anybody you'd like to thank?
Well, it is Mother's Day. I'll say Happy Mother's Day to my mom and my wife, but my special one is my dog. Well, shout out to my dog Ted. How's that? Teddy.
Teddy, the pit lane dog.
Yeah, you know what? Listen, she sits on my lap when I'm doing practice laps. She sits on my lap. How's
Really? Were you
Oh, yeah.
driving?
that? Not tonight, but she
Oh.
does when I'm.
What kind of
doing,
dog is
hot
it?
laps. A Yorkie poo, small little
Oh.
dog,
Oh,
little
okay.
terrier. Oh yeah, she knows when I say I'm going racing. She knows what's going on.
Did she tell you in the box? Like,
Imagine
push that
having a
little-
pit bull on your lap while doing a quick
Yeah.
lap around Spa. That'd be scary.
Yeah, it's so. Yeah, well, shout out to my dog Ted. So, all right, guys, I gotta pee. I gotta
Stephen,
pee.
please. Has got to pee. Stephen, congratulations on your victory, and you go
Good
and
boys.
well lose lose everything after the race.
All right, guys, thank you very much.
We weighed Stevie before he went to pee, so he's definitely underweight. And according to the rules and regulations, there. Dan, how was that? Stevie, Scotty, Juan, Diego, Joel, Jeff, Manuel, and David didn't finish the race, unfortunately, but it was a race.
Sadly not. Well, it was a race and we saw everything in that one. Thank you all very much for watching. Biggles, thank you very much for being in the booth with me. I enjoyed every second of it like I did at the Europes. Thank you all very much for watching. Thank you to Phil, thank you to CJ in chat, and thank you to everyone who has watched this race. Biggles, it's been an amazing one, but it's time for us to once again close another chapter of this championship. Round number 8 has come to an end for both the Europes and the Americas. Thank you all very much for watching. Biggles, I'll see you next time at Bathurst, your home track. Until then, stay safe. We'll see you there. Bye-bye.